Okay, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this one. Me too. Dear to my heart. The goddess Hel. So, Hel is a goddess who is the keeper of the dead, the keeper of the bones. Her realm is located really in all the realms. We see that different aspects of the other nine realms are sometimes mentioned to be in hell. And we even know that gods such as Balder made their way down into hell when they died. So she even holds the fate of the gods in their hand, which shows us that nothing and no one can escape her realm, her power. Death, often looked at as a negative type of energy, absolutely not. There is a peaceful, calm, quiet comfort in her cold grasp that is very meditative. And I will be doing a longer video about hell as well and how people connect with her today in more modern times. So until then, tomorrow. 31 Days of Norse Gods, Day 10, and it is about the goddess Frigg. Hi, I'm Rune Guidance of the Norse, and we're going to talk about Frigg. She is the goddess of hearth and home and motherhood, and the mother of Balder and Hermod and Hothar. But did you know that Freya's husband is Odr, and that Frigg's husband is Odin, and that Freya and Frigg are believed to actually originally have been the same goddess, and Odin and Odr are etymology the same names. So we do know that since we don't take things literally in Norse mythology, that there is that connection there. But that being said, Frigg is the god of weaving and home domesticity. I love that. However, I think she has more power than a lot of people give her credit for. So go see my video on Patreon of Freya, and it will explain a lot to you. 31 Days of Norse Gods. Hi, I'm Rune Guidance of the Norse, and today we are going to talk about Tyr, the god Tyr, the god of justice, loyalty, self-sacrifice. So awesome. When I do an expanded video, I will explain his possible connections to other deities in other pantheons. But today, self-sacrifice. The big wolf Fenrir was predicted to kill Odin at Ragnarok, and so the gods all were trying to enchain him, and they thought if they could bind Fenrir that Ragnarok just wouldn't happen, because that would work, right? Anyway, he was too clever for them, and they made a deal with him, and they said, hey, we want to try one more time. Let us do it. Let us put this chain on you. Wink, wink. Nothing will happen. And this magical chain that they had gotten from the dwarves, well, it really could work. But Fenrir was smart, and he said, all right, I'll tell you what. If one of you puts your hand in my mouth, then I'll let you do it. And so the story goes that Tyr said, I'll do it. I'll put my hand in your mouth. Well, we can get into all of that in another video, but let's just say he was known as the one-handed god. Until next time, Texmugget. Fulla, who is she? 31 Days of Norse Gods, and today we're going to talk about Fulla. She was a handmaiden of the goddess Frigg, who is said to be the keeper of her secrets. She kept her treasures and she kept her secrets. She's described as a handmaiden, possibly primarily because of the medieval times in which it was written. However, she is mentioned in the Merseburg charms as Vola instead of Folla, and that she was good in the healing arts, as it talks about how she healed Balder's horse. She's also mentioned in that poem as being a sister of Frigg. So there is this element of a close confidant, a close companion, someone who obviously is trustworthy, and actually kind of secretive herself because not a lot more is known about her. We'll see you tomorrow. 31 Days of Norse Gods, and this is going to be a tough one. I will really try to condense it, but I will have to do an expanded video. And I think I actually did an expanded video about him already this year. Maybe I'll repost it. Loki. Yes, Loki. With a complicated family life, two main partners, Sigyn, the loyal, faithful wife, and Angrboda, who's to say she wasn't loyal, but she was a Jotun, and therefore she represents that chaotic energy and that type of essence. We know that Loki had children with Sigyn, his wife, who seemed to be more Midgard human types, but with Angrboda, we know he had Jormungandr, Fenrir, and of course, our lovely Hel. And they were monstrous. That's how they were described. Loki, in essence, though, is an agent of chaos. And chaos is necessary in the cycle of things. So it's not about good or evil in the Old Norse mind. It is about cyclical nature and timing. We also know Loki probably has connections to the old myths of the Ash Lad, and I did talk about that in a video as well. If you don't know, go to my Patreon, check it out. Maybe you can find it in there. 31 Days of Norse Gods, and it's Rune Guide into the Norse. I'm going to switch it up today and use pictures instead of video. We're going to talk about Heimdall, the watchman of the gods, powerful guardian of Asgard. He resides in Heimenbjorg, the Sky Cliffs, and this is where the Rainbow Bridge, Bifrost, meets the sky. He has incredibly acute senses, seeing for 100 leagues, both in the daytime and the nighttime, and his hearing is so sharp that he can hear the sound of grass growing and wool growing on sheep. His powerful trumpet, the Gjallarhorn, is heard throughout all of the 9 realms, and it is blown to warn all the other gods that Ragnarok is approaching. It gives them the heads up so they know. And during Ragnarok, he is destined to fight his nemesis, who is the trickster god Loki, and they will kill each other in the end.